Yo, Austin got on a Rosa Parks special on his head, man. He looked like he's trying to like free some slaves over there, man. What is that, yo? What you doing over there, B?
Yo, let me change my look up, man.
Yeah, you do something, yo. You look like, you know.
Now you're like somebody from the Fat Albert and the Cosby Kid. He need to cut some eyeballs out of his hat that wears Joan over his face. Welcome to A Few Good Minutes in the War Room. I'm one of your hosts, Devin McMillan, and I'm here with my partners, Jimmy Williams.
Free Max B, and rest in peace, Bad News Brown.
B. Austin.
Yo, OJ never did it, man. Free him.
All right, we want to talk to you guys for a few minutes today about an issue that's popped up ever since Louisville's guard, Kevin Ware, got that gruesome injury.
Yo, that issue was nasty, yo.
Day. Yeah, the issue we want to speak about, though, is not actually the injury itself, but the issue of whether or not the injury should have been posted, the picture of his leg should have been posted on the internet, if the video should have been replayed a few times on television and also posted on the internet. We came across a few people on our Facebook page because we did post the photo of his leg. For the most part, you know, people seem to just go with the punches because it was an issue worthy of talking about. But there was a few people who felt quite offended by us posting the photo on our site. Jimmy, what do you think about that whole thing? Do you think it was anything wrong with us and everybody else on the internet who posted a photo of the young man's leg?
Well, here's my thing. I understand that it was a gruesome injury and the picture was floating around, and I understand that some people think it's distasteful, but at the end of the day, it's news. It's news, news, news. And we live in a society where, you know, this is what people want to see. When there's traffic accidents, people stop and they look. I mean, you know, and the society's always been this way. I was watching TV the other day, and they had the Romans just throw people in the cage to kill each other. Now, what does this have to do with anything? It's the fact of the matter that this happened. This is the biggest story of the game, so it's going to be showed. Now, as long as you're not sensationalizing it and making like a joke of it, you know, that's one thing, and that's not what we did. We just posted a photo to have conversation about the injury. People were talking about, you know, where it ranked in terms of injuries they saw, but it's not that it was you know, put out there as a joke or put out there distasteful. It wasn't being sensationalized, and no one really was trying to capitalize off of the young man's injury because it was gruesome. You know, I hope he gets better. But at the end of the day, for people to act like this is not news, that's a joke. People are not even talking about the fact that his team is playing in the Final Four. All you hear about is his injury. How's he doing? You know, the reaction from the bench, the reaction from his coach. So this was a part of the game, and it's a big part of the game. It's going to be one of those situations where you're going to remember exactly where you were when you saw it. It's probably the worst injury I've ever seen. But, you know, I don't think it's a problem with posting it as long as you're posting it, you know, as just telling a story as opposed to, you know, making fun or making jokes about it.
Yeah, in addition to that, I don't know. It was a thing where CBS, when it happened, CBS only showed about one, maybe two replays of the whole thing. So a lot of people didn't even, you know, they didn't even catch it because if you missed that one replay, you didn't even know what everybody was reacting to and, you know, why everybody hit the deck and why everybody started to cry or what have you. I don't really see anything offensive about posting it. I've heard the words offensive. I've heard the word disrespectful. I'm not really sure who would be disrespected by the photo.
Yo,
yeah,
how many times have we seen JFK get his wig split and you see it like in slow motion and up?
Right, and he was the president of the United States. But my thing is this: I think if you're a squeamish person, it's a nasty photo. I get that part, but I really don't see who is disrespected by it, and I don't really understand why people would take offense to it. Like you said,
people
Jimmy,
take offense to everything, man. Pull your skirts down, B.
What do you think about the issue, B. Austin?
Initially, I was gonna take offense to the whole cultural angle my esteemed colleague Jimmy took, but then I really did think about it, and it's context for the game. Like, you can't talk about this game any longer without talking about that injury because it became bigger than the game. So us being a news outlet and part of the media, what is your expectation of us in discussing that game? If we discuss the game and we ignore it, then we look like idiots and we're not doing our job. And don't front like some of y'all don't watch Faces of Death either.
See, and that's a great issue that you brought up, because I could totally see 100% if this wasn't a basketball game, if this was somebody who got their head blown off, and we're posting pictures of somebody who just died, you know, with their head blown off. But the fact of the matter is this is sports. This was an extraordinary injury, probably something of the likes that, you know, a lot of people out there has never seen before. You know, we've seen injuries where somebody got a compound fracture and, you know, the bone is piercing the skin. Not fully piercing the skin, but you can see it sticking out. This one fully pierced the skin. You know, his bone was snapped in half. It was an extraordinary injury. And I mean, who really wouldn't want to see it?
Well, it's kind of like you said. It's like the media that was covering the game at the time of the injury, they did a good job of not over focusing on it. But if you're just watching that game for the first time or you missed it, you're done a disservice if you don't kind of look back to it, because that's the biggest part of that game.
And the last thing I want to say is to all you people that live in glass houses who are talking about how distasteful it is on Twitter, and then I go on your timeline and you have pictures of scantily clad women and toots doing things that I don't even want to mention on this show, and all kinds of ratchetness.
Whenever you say toot, you gotta say shout out to Myra. And shout out
to Myra, most famous toot in the world. But go ahead, though.
All right, so yeah, we want to know your thoughts on this issue. Leave some comments in the comment section. What do you think about the photo and the video being posted on the internet for people to see? Make sure you check us out. Everything we do at warroomsports.com. Click on the like button so you can like this video. And like I said, make sure you comment. Make sure you subscribe to the page as well. This has been a few good minutes in the War Room. And as usual, don't accept mediocrity and be steadfast in the war against ignorance.
I see you chumps on top.
Wait, it's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table, 5 Philly guys, the first